Well, it's January 2020 and in the Secret Santa bought me this little kit. This is a, just get it out for you, Oscilloscope Kit. Now, I'm really looking forward to building this, except I'm not building it today. The reason I am not building it today is because this has some onboard mounted components, SMD, surface mount devices, I believe it's called. So I've got an IC being put on for me, which I'm really pleased about because I don't fancy doing that. But there is another IC there, there's some resistors there. There's something over here as well. So as well as the through hole stuff, you've also got the onboard stuff, which I've not really done much with. So I wanted to do something else that would give me a bit of practice. I do have a heat gun and I do have a soldering iron. So what I've bought is these two. Now these are quite simple kits, but again, these have, there we go, so these have both through hole, which are the LEDs, and surface mount as well. So we have some resistors, a couple of capacitors, an IC, two ICs actually that go on there. So I thought, well, this is a good little kit to build and to try out. And the reason why I've got two of them is because I want to use my heat gun, which I've got here. So I could try doing one kit with the heat gun to see how that goes, and the other kit with the soldering iron to see how that goes, and just see which is the easiest to work with the surface mount, whether the heat is better or not. I've also bought some solder paste as well. Again, not really used this much, used it occasionally but not had much success. What I do know using this is less is more. So when you put this on, don't use much of it at all, because as you put the heat on it, it kind of spreads. So less is more with this. So that's the solder I'm going to use with the heat gun. So I'll build the kit. Might not do much talking with this because it's fairly straightforward. But let's crack on with it and let's see how it goes. So if we have a close look at this, we've got resistors going across here, which I'm going to guess are these resistors because there's quite a lot of them. We've got a larger IC here, which is the 4017, smaller one here, which is a 555 timer. We've got a couple of capacitors here, one goes there, one goes there, and we've got a 10k and a 2k resistor as well, which, yeah, that's got 222 on it, so that'd be the 2k. Okay, so, oh, and there's the variable resistor, well, that's through hole, that goes there. Power goes here, which is this connection here. So yeah, what I think I'll do is I'll start with the two capacitors first of all, which are these here. Right, first thing we'll do is to get some cleaning alcohol. Let's put this a bit in a tub like that, there we go. So get some of that. Okay, get a tissue, and we're just going to clean the board just to make sure it's clean, because we're going to do this surface mount on this, and we're going to use this cleaning alcohol so it evaporates fairly quickly as well. So just get that quick clean over, just remove any grease or oils that was left after production. So I've got that done. Right, I shall put on the heat gun, get that ready as well. The board I'm using is a silicon board, and it is one that's that can be used for heat. It's about 500 degrees it can go up to. I was setting the heat gun for about 300 degrees. That's the temperature I think should be about right. Okay, so let's get our solder paste. And I'm just going to just push a little bit out. There we go. Right, so I'm going to do one pad first of all. So I'm just going to put a little dab on there. That actually might be too much. So put a bit more on there as well. That's about right. That's how much you want. Just a very small dab you want on it. Okay. Right, let's get our capacitor out. So as you can see, I've had to zoom in quite a lot here, so that gives you an idea of how small these components are. Okay, so that's got those two out. And I'm going to use a couple of, I'm going to use some tweezers, which are these here, which are normally shut when left by themselves, which will nip and hold the component in place. That's the idea anyway. Let's just see how that goes. So I'm going to get the heat gun now. Let's pick up one of these components. So okay, so I'm going to zoom down so you can see, or hopefully see what I'm doing. Right, so first of all I'm just going to move the heat gun on the board up and down, and that's just to generally heat the board itself, just so it's not a massive shock to the board when I start using one area of it. Okay, so let's concentrate on this bit here now then. And we'll know it's right when it goes shiny. There we go. So let's put this in place. Oh, and that hasn't taken at all. I think it needs a bit more heat. There we go. And that's totally failed. Right, why has that failed? It's also very hot. Right. Let's try that again. Right, hopefully that's got it. So while that cools off, let's go down to the other one. Give that a try. Let's pick up the components. Okay, let's got that one on. Let's just leave it for a second or two just to cool off. Right, next thing we need to do is to turn it round. Just be careful because the board can get very hot. And we'll just put a little bit of solder on the end. There we go. And now we're just going to warm that up and hopefully solder the other side. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's that one done. Okay, just leave that to cool down. Right, the next one we'll do is the 10k resistor. Now I'm zoomed in a bit, so I apologise if it's a bit blurred. I'll try and focus best I can. Okay, so a blob of solder on there. And while we're here, we'll flip it round and do the other side. Okay, let's get that one done. So the next one is the 2K. not the easiest thing to get out these. Okay, let's got that out. Apologies, I know you didn't see that happening, but you've got to be so careful that the component doesn't go pinging across the desk when you're doing this. Right, give it a plop of solder. Now this time I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm actually going to put the component on if it stops sticking to my screwdriver, that is. Right, now I'm going to heat up the solder and see what happens. Okay, turn the board round, plop of solder, okay, hopefully you saw that alright. Apologies that it's a bit blurred. I don't have a fantastic zoom on my camera. But there we go, that's got the 2 capacitors and 2 resistors done. Right, the next job we'll do is the IC. Now this has a cutout like before to signify which is the top, which is pin number 1. So let's have a look on here. So there's no cutout. Sorry, again, you can't see that. There we go. Again, there's no cutout on there. So how do you know which is pin number 1? Well, you know that because the cutout, the first leg next to it on the left, is always pin number 1. And on the IC, you've got a little dot in the corner there. So that's how you know that pin number 1 goes in the corner like that. So with our tweezers we'll hold it in place. There we go. Now this is the bit I don't particularly like because I've got a feeling this is going to short, but let's see how it goes. I'm going to blob some solder on. And going by the theory that less is more, I haven't put much on, but let's see what happens. Again, I'm going to place the IC on the board. Okay, fingers crossed. Let's see how this goes. Well, I think that's done it. I can't really tell. Okay, let's leave that to cool down for a minute. Well, I think that's stuck, so let's press on, do the other side. This could be a complete fail, this, knowing my luck, but let's just see how it goes. So I need to put some more solder on this side. Okay, let's see how this one goes. Right, again, I think that's done. Just leave that to cool down. Right, so what I'm going to do now is just using an old toothbrush, I'm just going to give that a quick clean up just to see what it looks like. Ouch, board is still very hot. So just cleaning away all that flux. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so it looks like they're all soldered up okay. How can you see that with the button? So you can see that. So again, apologies that's not very clear, but that to me looks okay. We'll soon know when we power it up. Right, next one we need to do then is the timer down here. We'll do that exactly the same way as before. So, put a lob of solder on. Right, okay, same again. We've got our IC here, and the dot is in the top left hand corner of this one, so that will go this way around, showing where pin number 1 is. So put that on there. Let's get my screwdriver. Okay, let's get that one done. Turn it round, and we'll just solder the other side. There we go, let's get that one done. Actually, this is actually working out quite easy than I thought. I am getting a bit warm in my little hutch here, but with all this hot air around, but that's not bad. Right, okay, so the next thing to do is the resistors across here. So what I'll do, I'll just do one to show you, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Right, so I've got the resistors here. Again, they're a bit awkward to get off the cover off. There we go. So I'm just going to take out one for the time being. There it is. And blob of solder. Put the component on the board, get it stuck to the screwdriver. Oh, come on. This is not working out quite right, is it? And I've got solder paste all over the shop. Finally got it in place, right. Okay, that's one side done. It's a bit wonky, I know, but it should be alright. Okay, here we go then. Okay, so I don't sure if you noticed that, but what happened is when I heated it up again, the solder melted, and when the solder melted it pulled it straight. So I'm not that concerned if there's anything wonky on the board one side, because I know that when I solder the other side it should go straight. So I'm going to pause the video now. I'll do the rest of these. It's exactly the same as that. I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, so that's got all the resistors put on. The only sort of problem really I had was I should have put the resistors on before the IC, because just around here, just getting the heat gun nozzle in, but it wasn't too bad. I put it at an angle and worked my way through, so that was okay. So that's all the resistors done. So the next thing to do are the LEDs and the variable resistor that goes in there. I'm guessing because it's got a timer on it, that has to do with the speed. This is just a simple chaser light kit. Right, I've got the board mounted in the vise. So let's get the variable resistor. There's only one way around this will go. And it'll be held in by the little springy legs as well. There we go, that just sits up there like that. And we can solder that in place. There we go, nice and easy. Next thing are the LEDs. Right, so just empty the LEDs behind it. So these are quite simple LEDs. Got a long leg and a short leg. The long leg is positive, short leg is negative. And if we look on here, we've got a flat there. So we've got a nice circle there, we've got a flat there. And the flat is the negative or the ground side. So it goes with the short leg towards us. So we'll put those in, short leg towards us. I'll just do these two and then I'll switch the camera off and I'll do the rest. You've seen me do this plenty of times before. Okay, we'll just solder those up. Okay, I've got those done, so we'll just chop those off, the legs off. Okay, so that's got the first two LEDs done, so I'll just switch the camera off and I'll do the rest. Right, I've now got all the LEDs soldered on, and there's the back of it. So they're all soldered on, they're through hole, so we've got them all done. And I've also just soldered on the little power connector which goes on there, so that's done as well. So what we need to do now is to power up and see if we get some life out of this thing. So two cables here, one black, one white. So we'll do the black positive. Where's my test leads? There we go. So black positive and white is ground. Okay, so let's power on and see what happens. Great. Okay, that's a good start. Screwdriver. Okay, so let's see if this works. Yep, that slowed it down. Let's turn it the other way. Yep, no, that's gone faster. Okay, so that was using the heat gun to mount the surface mount components. That's the resistors, the ICs, a couple of capacitors. So the other kit I've got, which is here, what I'm going to do that slightly different and see if it's actually easier or not as easy, or if it's more difficult. What the idea is to use the heat gun to solder half of it, then use a traditional soldering iron to solder the other half. You use the heat gun to hold it in place. Anyway, I'll show you what that's like in a minute.